Ooh, back like I never left. What's going on, y'all? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time zone you are in. It's your boy Robbie, and we're gonna react to some vids at this moment. This one's gonna be coming from the Art of Dialogue. They be putting out some dope content. And this is gonna be coming from Jason Weaver breaking his silence about Wylie Draper's tragic passing after portraying Michael Jackson. Now, I'm not ashamed to admit it. Me and my cousins growing up, we were some Michael Jackson fanatics. You know what I'm saying? From Moonwalker to Thriller, Remember the Time, Bad, Scream, Keep It in the Closet, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Who you know was able to be Black, Puerto Rican, and white during their lifetime? Name somebody. You see, you can't. So this is going to be interesting to see what actually happened, because he really did a good job playing Michael Jackson in the Jackson story, American Dream. I think that's the name of the movie. So without wasting any more time, make sure you like, sub to the channel, all that good stuff. Let's get to the video.
Jason Weaver, happy to have you, my man.
Hey, man, I'm happy to be here. It's an honor to be on Art of Dialogue. Big fan of the show, man. So thank you for having me.
And real quick, I know it's early, but I'm gonna just go ahead and get this out the way. We got to make sure we give Jason Weaver his flowers. If you all know, he was that kid back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of the few, Disney kids you could say that didn't succumb to the harsh tragedies of Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? And just out here, just strung out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And also, shout outs to his moms, because if some of y'all don't know, she's the one who renegotiated his Disney contract for The Lion King. And so he's basically getting a lifetime pension from Disney. Anytime you watch Lion King, buy any of the merchandise, my brother here gets paid. So kudos to his moms for sure, and flowers to him.
Glad we could make this happen.
Oh, man, it's an honor having you on the platform, man. I mean, I've been watching your work since I was a kid, man.
See what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Oh, no, man. Thank you. As soon as I got the call from Omar Gooden, OG, and I'd seen his interview as well. He was like, "No, man, definitely got to sit down with Art. He's a great guy." And of course, I was definitely down, because I watch a lot of the episodes on the show. Definitely appreciate and respect your work, and the type of interviews that you conduct and that you give. So, nah, man, I'm really excited and happy to be here. And thanks to your viewers as well, whoever chooses to tune in and check it out, man. I appreciate them as well.
We appreciate you, man.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Hey, yo, do you know most people, they say you had the best depiction of Michael Jackson out of anybody? You know that, yo?
You know what, man? Throughout the years, I've received a lot of compliments regarding my performance with portraying Michael Jackson in Jackson's American Dream. Um, I'm honored whenever people, approach me on the street and they compliment me for the work that I did, as well as the rest of the cast and the crew. Man, because we put in a lot of hours, man, a lot of hours of rehearsal, a lot of hours on set. Um, it was definitely a real gig, man, and portraying an iconic figure or performer like Michael Jackson, and how he was during that time, how big he was during that time. There's a lot of pressure, of course, stepping into those shoes or filling those shoes, because they have such a, amazing fan base. But, the Jackson family fan base, in particular, Michael Jackson's fan base, it's like, they're no joke. So, I already knew coming into that they were going to be very analytical when it came down to his portrayal. But thankfully, I was able to pull it off by the grace of God. It was just a lot of rehearsal, a lot of preparation, a lot of great people around me that helped me step up to the plate. One, including my mother, our choreographer, God rest his soul, Michael Peters, who was also Michael's choreographer back then. So it was a lot of people that helped me step up to the plate. I can't take that credit by myself,
How did you get the role?
Man, I got it auditioning here in Chicago. Yeah, originally I heard about them casting for the Jackson's American Dream when I was working in a recording studio that my cousin Lainey Stewart and my mother owned at the time in Evanston, Illinois. And I was maybe about 11 or 12. The Jacksons, the miniseries in itself was kind of still in pre-production. They were still like trying to get big name attachments like Angela Bassett and Lawrence Hilton Jacobs and Billy D. Williams. And so they were, building up the cast to, um, I guess, make the film really, really attractive, to viewers when you have big names like that. And so by the time they started casting for Michael #2, which was technically my role in there because it was 3 Michaels, so I was Michael #2. And by the time they started casting for that, it was like an international casting call, man. They were auditioning kids all over the United States, and then in some cases, across the pond. I think even Wade Robeson, he had auditioned for it. He's originally from Australia. There were kids, from Europe. I'm sure kids from Asia, but it was a pretty big deal, the auditioning process for that.
I heard that Michael Jackson, he actually chose you, right?
Yeah, Michael had to personally pick the actors who portrayed him in the miniseries. So I was honored. I went through the whole process of I guess advancing past kids from the international to the national auditions to finally there were a group of kids that were like flown out to Los Angeles, kids from Chicago, kids from New York, whoever else that that they were interested in taking a look at. So we were all flown to Los Angeles to audition in front of the Jackson family, the ABC network, who were the people who were who were broadcasting the miniseries at the time. And then Michael was on, he wasn't on tour yet in Europe, but he was rehearsing in Europe, preparing for the Dangerous tour. So he wasn't actually present during the audition process. But once we went through kind of like that semifinal round of audition in front of his family and the producers and the casting director and the director, then the last 3 finalists, if you will, their tapes were flown out to Michael, and then from there he had to make the decision, ultimately who he wanted to portray him in the film. So I, again, by the grace of God, man, I guess he saw something in me that um
It's almost kind of like Michael's Willy Wonka, and he's the kid who found the gold ticket. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what it gives. You know what I mean? Like, how lucky is that? You know what I'm saying? That you got picked out of millions of kids that auditioned for that role. You know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe I get.
that he just saw, where I guess he felt that I could step up to the plate and do him justice, as far as portraying him. And so he gave me that opportunity, and it changed my life, man. And I can't thank
It really did.
whenever I get the opportunity in an interview,
Because his career
I
took off
always
after
take
that.
the time to thank Michael, for giving me that opportunity. Just a kid from Chicago, man, that he just selected out of all of these amazingly talented kids who had already auditioned. And shout out to the Jackson family, from Jermaine Jackson to Mr. and Mrs. Jackson. The whole family was really involved in the casting process. So I appreciate them as well for believing in me and giving me that opportunity. And shout out to Suzanne DePass as well, who was the executive producer of that miniseries at the time, but who was also my manager at that time as well. So she put a lot of faith in me and gave me a shot too. So shout out to Suzanne DePass for sure.
Did he ever come to the set?
He came to set one time, um, but it was like really, really brief. And those of us who got the opportunity to meet him briefly, we did, and it was cool. I mean, it was just one of those experiences where I was kind of like in and out because we were on a lunch break, and I think we were kind of behind that day schedule wise because we were filming at Enterprise Studios on Magnolia Boulevard in Burbank, and we were actually filming the "I'll Be There" segment of the film, where I was in the studio with Barry Gordy, who Billy D. Williams played. And so we had a lot of star power on the set that day, and a lot going on. And so I guess during that time when he was in Los Angeles for whatever business that he was doing at the time, he was able to sneak over and say hello to a couple of the cast members, and then he kept it moving. So I was honored to meet him, honored to receive positive feedback from him, and to know that I truly had
That's
his
what's
blessing.
up, man.
I heard you say that he'll be in disguise when he came to the set.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was kind of like Michael's thing back then, because he was such a, I mean, he's such a huge star, man. Like he would go places and people would fucking pass out. You know what I mean? So he wasn't just like your regular superstar. He was, the biggest star on the planet. So even working professionals in the entertainment industry, if they knew that he was on set, that would have slowed production down. So they had to keep it kind of low.
I heard that Tupac and Janet, they came to the set once.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's when I first met Pac. I had the pleasure of meeting him twice during the time when he was still here with us. But yeah, him and Janet came down to that same set. That was during the time when they were filming Poetic Justice. Then I guess Janet maybe just wanted to come through and check out production, but she brought Pac with her. And I was a huge Pac fan. Like, man, Tupacalypse Now was one of my favorite albums, back then. So to meet him, and he was hella cool. This is before he became like Tupac. So his persona was just, very humble, very cool. Talked to everybody, that he ran into on set. I shook his hand and just had the opportunity to tell him that I was a fan. So that was dope. And then of course Janet Jackson, like, man, that was Janet. And if anybody remembers Poetic Justice, Janet Jackson, boy, you know what I mean? So it was great to meet her in person as well. She was very nice, very gracious, very complimentary, towards everybody that was there, working on the set. She thanked everyone who was there
That's what's up.
working on behalf of that show.
Yo, the fact that he could say that he's, met these people that are no longer here with us, I mean, it's saying a lot. You know what I mean? Like Jason Weaver is, he's been around for a while. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of cool.
So it was cool to interact with a superstar like her that was so humble like that,
Who were some of the other celebrities that came to the set that you remember?
Yeah, yeah. It was crazy, man. There were always like friends of the Jackson family who were coming on to the set, just to show support and just out of curiosity, because was the talk of the town, the lead up to it, premiering. Everybody was anticipating that miniseries coming out. And mind you, this was prior to social media, the internet, all of that. So when you had that buzz going on in Hollywood, people were kind of clamoring to get a glimpse as to what exactly we were doing over there. So that was dope. Elton John had stopped by, Sir Elton John. That's kind of how I was able to transition into working on The Lion King. The Jackson family was always there, of course, because Jermaine and his wife at the time, Margaret Maldonado, they were always on set. Tito, God rest his soul. I think his sons may have come on set maybe once or twice. 3T, if anybody remembers that group. Of course, Jermaine Jackson Jr. was actually in the film portraying his father. Who else would come on this set? I mean, that whole experience, I'll be honest with you, was just like such a blur, because there really wasn't any time to focus on who was around. I really had my blinders on. I was really focused on the job, and I was focused on, executing. So even if there were an abundance of celebrities that were coming through, I was completely
You were a
unaware.
kid too, so you
The
ain't have
guy
time
that
for
played
that.
the grown Michael Jackson that passed away soon after the movie came out. You have any insight on what happened to him?
Oh, Wylie Draper. Wylie Draper. Oh, Wylie was, man, that was my guy, man. Wylie, originally from Atlanta. Wylie was actually one of the cast members who helped me the most, as far as really locking down Michael's persona and his whole uh, his whole persona, even on stage. Wiley and I would work together a lot, even after rehearsal, because that was one of the things that Michael Peters, God rest his soul as well, that he always challenged us with. He would always say in rehearsals, like, "Now I hope y'all know that everybody around the world is gonna be watching y'all. So, you better rehearse here and you better get it in." And even those times where you can rehearse on your own, take the time to do it, because there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be critical of your performances. And if you guys
I
don't
would
come
imagine.
through, the world is definitely going to let you know. So those of us, well, all of us, took that very, very seriously. There wasn't a cast member on that show that didn't, take extra hours to rehearse or to prepare or, to lock in, even tighter into their roles. So Wylie and I would get together and just go over moves in the mirror. And he'd give me suggestions. And because he was really like on point when it came to Michael. I think prior to him being cast in the miniseries, he was a performer on cruise ships as a Michael impersonator. And so, he really had it down. But, aside from him uh, presenting such a beautiful performance in that film, man, he was just an amazing and beautiful person, man. Beautiful spirit, nice to everyone, very humble. I actually went and visited him when he was in the hospital. He was at St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank, and I think this maybe 5 to 6 months after the miniseries had like aired. And then I caught wind that he was sick with leukemia. And so my mother and I, we found out that he was at St. Joseph's in Los Angeles. And so we went over there to visit him, and I got a chance to tell him, thank you and how much I appreciated him and loved him as a friend, and, prayed with him. And then unfortunately and sadly, maybe like a month later, he passed. But Wylie was really, really good guy, man. All of us who had the pleasure of working with him on that miniseries, we all miss him. We wish, I believe all of us, we wish that he would have gotten the chance to really, receive his flowers fully while he was still here with us.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. Him passing away so soon after the movie. Terrible, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of the video. And that's crazy. I think I had read where something that happened, but I didn't know exactly what it was that he had. But that is crazy to have, passed, so soon after the launch of that miniseries, and to see what it did globally. I mean, even now, when you watch that, it just has this, of course, nostalgia about it, but the fact that it was done on film and it has that grainy Lifetime movie look to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing like watching that on a nice sunny Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Throwing the Jackson miniseries movie. That was our shit back when we was kids. Me and my cousin, we used to watch that all the time. Michael, Marlon, you're gonna get it. So, yo, my cousins would be cracking up. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments, man, what y'all thought about that. You know what I'm saying? And did y'all watch the Jackson story? I'm sure most of you have. Most of my audience, y'all have definitely seen that coming up back in the 90s. Y'all let me know. And if y'all were Michael Jackson fans or whatever growing up, I know I was. Me and my cousins, they can vouch. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all let me know. I'll be sure to link this video in the description in case y'all want to go check out some more videos from the Art of Dialogue. They be putting out some dope stuff. I'll be watching them here and there. And yeah, if you made it this far into the video, like I always be saying, I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? We up to 300 subscribers now. You know what I'm saying? We constantly growing. I'm happy with the small milestones. You know what I'm saying? Every small gain matters to me. So I appreciate that. Make sure you like, sub up. Like I said, leave your comments. It's your boy Robbie, and I'm out to the next video.